Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. How is everybody? Hopefully you had a pretty good week last week. Myself, actually, it's been a while since I really had some really good currency trades. And yeah, it was like four, actually, it was five of them that were really just solid. I missed one of them, should have caught it, but missed it. And then looking forward, what we're seeing going into this week, which is we're almost in September, right? This year is going by pretty quick. Those of you guys don't know that September traditionally is my second worst month of the year. So I typically shut it down mid-September. Maybe I'll stick around just for some scalping on indices and quick little plays, but for the most part, my currency plays are just maintain what I have and kind of just wait for the new portfolios to come out October 1. But jumping ahead, getting into what we're seeing on the calendar, globally, the economic outlook is not I don't see any kind of positivity coming from it. So we'll see what kind of that brings. I know I say this every week, but I don't envision being on here for 3 hours. This morning I had another allergic reaction to crap, so I ended up having to go to my allergist, and they gave me some high dose Benadryl injections. So I am very, very lethargic. So, like I said, I'll get through what I got. If you guys have questions, I'll try to answer them. I don't envision being on here for 3 hours though, like I normally do. So let's dive into it. Looking at the economic calendar, hopefully you guys already done the prep work on your end, and you've seen that, we have some good volatility coming out this week. Definitely we've got some Euro stuff coming out tomorrow morning during London session, followed by some pound stuff. And then we've got a little bit of inflationary numbers coming out as well for the US dollar. Wednesday, I don't envision none of this really is going to make a difference. I think home sales month over month, I think they're already pricing in a negative 2.6%. I think it's going to be lower than that. But, I know at least the South Florida markets have started to cool off a little bit. Thursday, I really don't see much coming out. We have a quarterly GDP number on US dollar. I did see this pop in here, the Jackson Hole Symposium. So I know they're doing something out there in Wyoming. And when we look at it, right, it's just the who's who of centralized banking, right? I mean, that's pretty much what it is. I don't know exactly what the outcome is going to be. It is what it is. Now it is, you could see it's also called the Kansas City Fed Economic Symposium. I really don't know if there's anything that's going to really cause a lot of volatility out of that. Thursday, we do have the Royal Bank of New Zealand Governor Orr speaking. So that is definitely going to be moving some of the Kiwi and Australian markets. And lo and behold, the myth, the legend, the moron himself is going to be speaking here. So we'll see what happens Friday. I know that 10 o'clock in the morning on a Friday New York session, I'm kind of not looking for new positions, but that may make me take some partials. So of whatever I'm holding, and we'll go into it. Going into the next week, I already know that there's some volatility following that. So, what that kind of lines up with for me is, I've been just really slamming dollar crosses the last couple of months. And if you follow what the US dollar has done, it's really given us the confirmation of what's going on, right? We're bullish dollar. So, what I've got on my plate is I'm looking for EU, GU, NU, and AU shorts, which they're all kind of showing that right now. I'm going to be really focusing on UCAD buys, which is something that we've been looking at for the last couple of weeks, and US dollar Swiss franc, right? UJ is not quite in the area where I want to do anything with. It's kind of like in the middle of nowhere for me right now. But this is really what I want to slam home with. And sticking to the bias on these two that I've really been working with is ACAD and NCAD, and I'm still very much bearish on them, still looking for shorts. Last week, ACAD gave, I think, a total of 5 positions last week. Really good R to R. Even the last one, which ended up hitting break even, the last one gave a 1 to 10 that I partialed out on Friday with. So really good movement on ACAD and NCAD. But I mean, the dollar crosses are really just giving me what I want. So there's no need for me to go anywhere else with it. Yen crosses, I have been tracking the yen crosses, but again, they're in the middle. We're almost to the point where I've got some alerts that maybe the alerts will go off and I can start bringing them over to the primary list. But that's not even like close for me to get into entries. It's going to be wait for continuation moves or wait for pullbacks. That's pretty much what I'm waiting on. But I'm still very much bullish on yen crosses. I think for the most part, we're going to see the continuation play come into what we're looking for. And we'll go from there. We'll see what's what's bringing on the horizon. Indices, indices were like in the middle. There's opportunities for shortings, definitely to short out of continuation play. But as we get closer into some of the demand areas that I'm going to be looking at, I'll definitely be looking for some positions to long indices from. My opinion is honestly looking at the charts on all 3 indices is we're not seeing evidence of sellers entering the market. We're just seeing evidence of buy positions being closed out. So that's something I've been looking at. Didn't take anything on indices today. All look like garbage. And I mean, just look what indices have done. Absolutely nothing in the last 12 hours, actually 24 hours. So getting into it, we'll look at it, see, kind of give you my thought process on what I'm looking to do with them. And then, if you're looking at something differently, definitely we'll have a discussion on it. So jumping into the charts, like I said, I'm going to start with the dollar because that's pretty much what's moving the market right now. Right. We can see ultimately that price has done what I wanted to do. You go back over the last couple of weeks, what was I waiting for? Waiting for price to come back into our previous area of reaccumulation. So we did that. We came in, we broke the first level of order flow, and now we are in this leg right here. So something that I'm going to be potentially looking for is, one of 2 things. What gets me into the market on any dollar pair right now is I want to see the dollar either come back in to here or come all the way back into here, which ultimately is going to be this area, and the 80% lines up here. So I want to see dollar start to show some evidence of buyers in the market from here to take it up or from here to take it up. So those are really the 2 areas that I'm looking for. And of course, if we do this, which is why I have my alert up here, we've reaccumulated, and I would now look for price to come back to mitigate to take it up. So that's really the only 3 scenarios that I see as potential possibilities for me to look for long in dollar. Do I think BTC and Ethereum are accumulating or redistributing right now? Well, before you can redistribute, it has to accumulate. So if it's not in redistribution, it's in accumulation. I mean, I could tell you the bigger picture is my anticipation is that it is accumulating to fill some more short orders and then eventually short off. So, I mean, that's my thought process, at least with Bitcoin. Ethereum, I don't even care about looking at an Ethereum chart at this point until after the merge. Once we get through the merge and, whether that actually happens, whether it happens and there's no issues, whether it happens and there's catastrophic failure, whatever happens after the merge, I'll start looking at an Ethereum chart after that. But it's honestly pointless to try to figure out what Ethereum is going to be doing until that merge is complete. Okay, so pretty much, I mean, this is what I'm looking for dollar. Does it make sense? Is there anybody that's definitely maybe seeing something differently? Is there something that it just doesn't make sense about this? It's pretty straightforward for me, right? This is what I'll be looking for. With that, if dollar does give me the continuation move, I'm going to be playing continuation moves on all the dollar crosses, right? So EU, GU, AU, NU, I'll be playing continuation move. If we don't, I'll be looking, okay, so where can I start looking for EU and GU shorts? It's going to be from, those particular areas that correspond with this down here. Since DXY is the leader and didn't make a new high, isn't that considered weakness? DXY is the leader and didn't make a new high. Isn't that considered weakness? So not making a new high makes DXY weak. So when we look at this, chart, you're seeing weakness out of this. Let me know, I guess, give me your thought process on why you think this is weakness. I care not that we actually didn't break the high, simply because EU did. So EU's already made the low. So I'm perfectly content with looking for it. What do I think is the ultimate target on DXY? No clue, man. However high recession and inflation take it. So, I mean, overall, what do I think? I mean, I think we're going to be reaching for this 120 level that I've been talking about for a very long time, right? I mean, this is where I'm expecting us to come up to, is in here. Whether or not we take that high, man, I don't know. No clue. I have no idea what they're trying to go with it. Yeah, hopefully, not in terms of shorts, but there's no new leg technically. Yeah, like I said, I don't care that we didn't take the actual high. EU confirmed for me, so that's plenty enough for me. I don't necessarily need us to actually physically trade above it. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's my thought process with DXY, right? Definitely looking for opportunities out of here. And then, of course, if we reaccumulate, I'll be looking for opportunities out of our shakeout. All right. Now on Euro USD, right? It's pretty much the same thing. It's the invert version of dollar index. So what I will be looking for, and this is something I was looking this morning, was, do we break and play the redistro here? No, we didn't. All right. So no break, no trade, right? I don't need to worry about this price action in here anymore. But if we do break the low, well, now I can play out of our manipulation, right? And come back in, play out of that to short it. The first area I'm going to be looking at, hold on, give me 1 second. All right, there we go. I'm sorry. Dog had to go outside. So obviously if we make this new low down here, we've redistributed. I'll play the mitigation of whatever we manipulated in here. If we do not make the new low, what do I want to see? Well, let's zoom out, right? There we go. So what's my targets, right? My point of interest is, this is the break. This is my slingshot, right? So we come up into this area here, or we come into our UTAD, right? Here's your distribution. This is your UTAD. We come into that UTAD, and I'll be looking for a distribution here or distribution here. That's what I need to see. So regardless, I mean, we're talking about maybe about 150, 160 pips to get to my very first area where I'm going to be looking for my short on EU, or we need a break. And if we break, I'll play in here to then short it. So again, just like DXY, EU, my 3 scenarios that I can get into a position to short this are going to be based out of that. All right. Other than that, it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, that's all there is. Last week, there was an opportunity pretty decent opportunity on EU shorts. Friday gave a really decent entry. Obviously I was looking to walk this down, couldn't get it, but there was an opportunity out of, where's Friday's price action? Yeah, there was an opportunity out of here. But yeah, I've got my eyes set out of this redistribution. If you haven't, I definitely take a look in this New York price action. If you have the seconds time frame, maybe take a look at the 15 or 30-second. There's a pretty clean schematic, and you can see I've already identified my 3-minute candle as my full volume candle. So that's where I'll be looking to set a limit out of if we get in there. If not, anything in here, right? Anything in here gets me into this trade. So, it's going to be a wait and see on EU. Nothing really gets me into a trade at current price. We need to really just either break or trade higher. All right. So that's what I'll be looking for on EU. On GU, right? On GU, pretty much the same thing. So what we're looking at is we have a new leg, right? We have a new order flow leg. And price has broken here. So we know that price distributed, it mitigated, and sent this down. So obviously, if we come back up into this area here, I'm a seller, right? I'm a seller from there. That's going to be my first point of interest. And then, of course, if we do come back into this is going to be my second point of interest. So my prep work, for the week, pretty simple. What do I want to see? Well, you can see what I was looking for. I was looking for, does price give me a new low first? Nope, no new low. All right. Well, if we end up taking out Asian highs, this is a point of interest that I like, right? But I need a schematic. And obviously nothing gave me a schematic in this morning. So no schematic, no trade. I mean, this isn't, there is no requirement for me to let this be a limit order, right? There's no confirmation for that. So we didn't do anything out of this. All right, no worries. Just no trade for me. I'm just going to delete it all, right? And now it's just a matter of, is it invalid? No, it's not invalid, because now if we do break the low, right? I still have my alert sitting right here. If we do break the low, I will come back and play out of the shakeout, right? I'll do something out of the shakeout to then walk it down. If we don't break the low, what do I need? Well, all right, sounds good. Let it come on up. All right. Let it come on up into the redistribution right in here. All right. This is what I want to see. I want to see, do we come back into our shakeout here that swept Asian liquidity, that mitigated the previous redistribution, that mitigated the previous redistro, coming back all the way into our distro with our Frankfurt sweep, right? This is now going to be my primary focus until we make that new low. If we don't get down there, no worries, right? If we don't make that new low, this is where she's at. This is where I want price to come up to. All right. This is the only place that I'll put risk on, is out of here. So we're not that far away. I mean, what are we talking? We're talking maybe like 170 pips. So on GU, maybe this is like a Thursday entry for me, right? Getting up into like this area here. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on GU. Could we hedge buy positions on EU and GU until we get into our area? I mean, you can if you want. I'm not. I'm personally have no interest in trying to. I mean, I'm holding. If you're holding shorts on GU and EU and you want to protect, right? Remember, I mean, it's the you got to ask yourself, what's the point of the hedge, right? For me, a hedge position is got one criteria. It's not to make money. The hedge position is to protect the pro trend bias position, so you don't have to take any volume off. So if you're holding GU and EU shorts, then and you feel like you have a reason to hedge buy it, then hedge buy it. If you're not holding EU or GU shorts and you want to buy it, then it is what it is. You're counter trend trading it. You're not hedging it, because a hedge is you've got to be in that first position to begin with. So, you got to ask yourself, what is, where do you want to buy from? What's keeping anything in here from just collapsing? So why buy it? That's up to you. I can tell you, I'm not interested one bit in trying to buy this at all. Yeah. I'm just gonna sit back and, I'm not giving, I'm not going to give any credence to the buy, because we're not seeing it. Ask yourself, in the last, I don't know, like 3 months, Have we really seen a lot of these crosses? Have we seen them give deep mitigations? No, it's been a lot of continuation move. So if it's been a lot of continuation move, that tells you that GU and EU have been doing a lot of redistros. So we haven't seen completed market cycles. We've just been seeing redistro. Could you explain your reasoning for needing a schematic? I don't know your rules, but is there not a manipulation? Yeah, I mean, it's all scenario based. For me, I need a schematic. So, yeah, if you're completely fine with taking the risk without a schematic, then take it without the schematic. I personally, where that scenario on, I'm assuming you're saying either GU or EU out of the redistro. Yeah, I need a schematic. I don't care about just it's not every manipulation that I'm looking to play. I'm looking to play price action, and I'm looking to play from cause and effect standpoint. So I would need a schematic in that because it's not maintaining anything. Okay. So yeah, pretty much, I mean, that's GU and EU are pretty simple. I mean, that's all I'm waiting on. You know, I'm still holding a position from, I think this was Wednesday. I'm still holding a Wednesday position from here, where I ended up taking partials on, actually, yeah, where I took partials on Friday, it was about, I don't know, 335 pip move, a little 1 to 38. It was a larger stop, but it was a simple little redistro out of there. You know, I've taken volume off. I'm happy with the volume I've taken off. And if this ends up hitting break even because we're going to come up into a deeper area, so beat it. You know, I already made some pretty decent profits out of it. The one thing I will be looking again is I want to see, obviously I want to see if we do get up into this price action right here. This is something I'll be looking at. And if we do, great. If not, you know, whatever happens in this area here is going to be the key for me. Okay. Okay. So that's EU and GU. Continuing with the dollar crosses, right? I mean, it's no secret. NU massively bearish, right? Just like AU. NU is actually taken back over being the leader in this, showing the greater weakness. And if we look at what this has done, I mean, obviously we know that this taps into previous supply. We know that this is still the low that needs to be made. We have a distribution, right? That distribution overall leads into a break of order flow, right? This was at some point a order flow leg. We also take out demand, right? This was the reaccumulation that got us up into that area. So as soon as we broke that, you know, what do we have? We have essentially our slingshot, and we have the distribution, right? That ultimately is creating this leg. So just like EU, just like GU, what gets me into the trade? Well, what gets me into the trade is simple. Like, do we come back? Do we come back into our slingshot? I've got my alert sitting right up here. Do we come back into the slingshot and distribute out of here, right? To take this lower. That's one. Do we go up into the distro, which is 2? Or my third option, right? Make a new low. We make a new low. I know where my manipulation is, right? This is that changing of hands. This is that taking out weak-handed sellers and ultimately playing continuation move. So those are the 3 things I'll be looking at ultimately to see if price can give me something, right? Could you define what exactly is a slingshot? Yeah. So have you ever shot a slingshot? So, you know, with like a marble or a rock, you know, you pull back on it, release it, fires a projectile, right? So for me, my slingshot is just my cause of the new high or the new low. It's prices, essentially it's prices. If price does the expansionary move and then creates the high, right? That's my slingshot, right? If this is what we're looking for to break, this right here is my slingshot, right? So, I mean, I'm sure there's other words or other iterations of it. That's just something that stuck with me. If you think about a slingshot, put the marble or the rock inside, pull it back, launch the projectile, right? So that's all I consider it. It's the cause of that new higher, new low. It's the last place that orders were filled to create that higher low. Alrighty. So that's how I determine it. Yeah. So on NU, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what I'm looking for, right? I am looking to see, does she give me, and same thing, right? Same thing like this morning. If we would have broken here, I would have played out of this manipulation. And if we didn't break it, if we take out Asian liquidity and we're in this distribution, I need a schematic, right? No schematic, no trade. So coming into that, right? I mean, we still are in valid accumulation, right? This is still valid accumulation. Let the accumulation be the cause or the reason to get price back up into premium into our, and I don't know where my, I know I had a distribution or a redistro in here. Anyway, here's your redistro. Make this accumulation be the cause and the reason that we get up into our market cycle of premium so that we can start showing price to take it lower, right? That's ultimately what I'm looking to do with NU, right? If I get confirmations, I'll take the confirmations. If I don't get confirmations, no trade. So no confirmations today on NU or AU or GU or EU. All right, no worries, no trade. Nothing I'm going to do with it, right? I'm just going to sit back and wait for price to give me those confirmations. So this alert still very much valid. We break the low. I know that this is my shakeout. So that's what I'll play out of. All right. You know, and again, same thing. I would wait for a schematic out of this. There's not much I'm going to do out of this. I know that the stop loss is going to be massive if I try to take something on a limit order. So I'll need to wait for a schematic on it. Any continuation move like that, I'll need to wait just because of the stop loss requirement, because I know it's not going to be worth the risk. So if this is NU, AU is going to be the same exact price action, right? Essentially, we know that we are massively bearish on AU, right? It means the Australian dollar is massively bearish. We've already broken this low here, which was maintaining order flow and the reaccumulation. We know that we came into prior area of supply up here. So everything's lining up pretty nicely, right? We, at this point right now, we know that the leg is here, right? We know that we came in to the 80% of this leg right here. And we know that we have now broken order flow. So we have a distro that ultimately is in charge of that. We have the cause, which is right there, that we know that we're potentially playing out of. Where could be downward continue? Where could be downward continuation? All right, I don't rephrase that. What do you mean by where could we have downward continuation on NU from? You mean where can we distribute from? All right. Yeah, I'll let you reword it. So I mean, for me, bearish is all day long, right? So what I'm going to be looking for is what we have here, right? We know that where we traded into, right? Where we traded into gives me premium pricing, right? Absolutely. So at this point, we need to now, hold on, let's see. I'm going to clean this up. There we go. So now we just need to redistribute, right? Give me the redistribution, which means that if price breaks this low, I know that this is what I'm playing out of. Right? So playing out of that to take it lower. If not, I want us to get higher, right? This distribution right here is what I've got my eyes on, most definitely. And I know that this is the slingshot that causes the break of this order flow right in here. So point of interest number one, point of interest number two, right? See my alerts. I've got my alerts ready for them. So there's three ways that I'm going to be a participant in AU shorts. It's going to be out of that. What if the market is in bearish? What if the market is in bearish? All right, let's try to work through this, bro. So on NU, you're trying to ask me what exactly? I thought I covered that. I'm looking here. You said NU is the leader, because the Kiwi dollar is definitely showing you the weaker. It's making lows sooner, so it's the leader. Yeah. So where am I looking for my shorts? You know, I'm looking here, and I'm looking here. And this is point of interest number 1, point of interest number 2 on NU. Yeah. Yeah, if you look at all the Kiwi crosses and then look at the Australian crosses, Kiwi's making the lows way before the Australian dollar. So it's the leader. It's showing the weakness first. All right. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all the crosses. And now what am I looking here on dollar sides, right? So go back to probably like 2-3 weeks now. We've been really looking for US dollar Swiss franc, right? And unfortunately, this poor bastard. I waited. When did I wait? So back in April, we were waiting for this to come back in. And finally, what is this, like 200 days later? What are we talking? 117 days later, it finally comes in, but falls short of where I wanted. I wanted it right in there. You can see my alert. I wanted it right in there. So whatever, it is what it is. Nothing I can do about it. We have broken a form of order flow, right? Now, granted, the distribution is still what is maintaining this leg. All it is order flow, right? All of this is just order flow for me. Holds no structure whatsoever. Hasn't made a new low, hasn't made a new high, right? So for me, what I want to see is I want to play, if we're not going to play into structure, because structure is kind of already come and gone. If we're not going to play out of structure, well, now what do I need to focus on? I need to focus on order flow, right? So for me, this right here is the slingshot that causes that break of order flow. So when price comes back down in here, this is what I was waiting for today, is just a simple old accumulation right in here to get me into a trade. I do not want it to trade below that, right? Because then this is an order flow leg. I care nothing if we break this. If we break this, I'm just going to sit back and wait for us to either go back bullish, or I'm going to wait for, you know, maybe if we get some cleaner price action on something coming into it. But this is just order flow. We haven't even broken, you know, the higher time frame order flow leg from this bearish leg coming down, right? So this right here is not really holding much other than, oh, okay, it broke this high. That's all it did. Nothing else. All right. So I like the fact that it's an accumulation. I liked how we've just been reaccumulating, coming all the way back up. I like the reaccumulations. So for me, playing the continuation move is going to be just this: wait for price to come in here. And if we don't, and you can see I've got it boxed out, if we make a new high, well, now I'll come back and play out of the shakeout to do this. So there's only 2 ways I'm getting into a US dollar Swiss franc buy. We accumulate down here before we make this high. If we make the high, this is done. And then if we do make the high, then I'll play back into this right here. So that's ultimately what I'm going to be looking for. All right. On US dollar Canadian, same tail, right? We've been really just exploiting it for buys the last couple of months. Super clean price action over the last, I would say probably this whole year. UCAD has been surprisingly really, really decent. So, you know, what do we see on the bigger picture, right? We see that price has given us this break. So out of this becomes my slingshot. The accumulation down here is the extreme of my leg, right? No, I'm not putting a limit on it. Yeah. I mean, you can, I'm going to play unless, let me think about this. If dollar reaccumulates, then I'll put a limit on USHF. But if dollar doesn't reaccumulate, I won't put a limit on it. So I could care less about that order flow. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this accumulation is maintaining our leg right now, right? We broke this redistribution. For me, it's just a larger accumulation. So now what does UCAD give us? So same thing like what I was looking at this morning. I wanted to see, do we reaccumulate or do we come lower into here? Well, we've broken order flow, right? Okay, no biggie. We broke order flow. Sounds great. What specific shakeout would you say is my UCAD? What specific shakeout is my UCAD? So just ask yourself, where's the last buy order? Right? Last buy order is there. That's my shakeout. So this right here is my SC. So that's why that alert is sitting there, because if we come back into that SC, anything in here gets me into a buy. Could take it up. Yep. So yeah, I mean, and realistically, that's what we're looking at. You could see we either reaccumulate. So we didn't reaccumulate. All right. So no worries, no trade. It is what it is, no big deal. And we did not accumulate out of order flow. All right. So we broke order flow here. All right, no worries. So now what do I need to wait for? Well, I know that we distributed here. And if now we come back into, again, if we come back into this push right here, I'm good for buys. So I've got my alert sitting right here. If we trade back, what are we talking? We're talking 62 pips. If we get 62 pips lower, I'm going to start looking for buys. And it's going to be out of this right here, right? This movement right here is what I want to see us mitigate. Obviously, I'm going to be looking at what we did in here, right? It's all got confluence. So if we start to build accumulation in there, great. And then, of course, what happens if price just breaks this high? Well, if price breaks this high, I'm going to play out of the mitigation of the manipulation to take it higher, right? Just like that. Yeah, Sam, just ask yourself anytime you're unsure of it, right? Ask yourself, where was the last buy order that caused the break? Right. So, I mean, you could potentially say, well, maybe here, right? But this isn't continuation. This is mitigation, right? This mitigates here. So where was the, essentially the reaccumulation? The reaccumulation was, this was the orders. This is that buy order right here. That's that buy order. This is where they came in and created the break. So yeah. Yeah, sometimes and are there times where I'm just like scratching my head for like 10 minutes and why? No clue, bro. Why? No clue, bro. Yeah. Just keep in mind too, like if I'm scratching my head and I'm like, man, I don't know where it is. I mean, whether it's here or here, just, box the whole thing out and just ask yourself, all right, so where's my alert? Boom. Well, if price starts to accumulate here, take it. If it breaks and it comes down here, take it. I mean, you're in a bullish market, why don't you take it as liquidity? What is liquidity? Yeah. What is liquidity? Do I get confused on market cycle and structure sometimes? I wouldn't say sometimes. I used to more often than not earlier. I would say this, that when I take a loss and I look back and I'll back test it a couple of times, And one of the key things that I always write down is that I misread the structure in that leg. So the key is just making sure that I don't misread it. But I would say that the biggest culprit for me taking a loss would be misreading the structure, not market cycle. Market cycle is pretty easy, right? I mean, you know that accumulations happen at the bottom of the cycle, distros at the top of the cycle. You can't have an accumulation at the top of a cycle. If you're seeing an accumulation at the top of a cycle, it's a distro, not an accumulation, right? And if you're trying to play a continuation move, you got to let the distro play out, wait for the shakeout, catch the continuation move. You know, those are things that you, on the cycle side, those are things that are pretty easy. The order below that. So which order are you talking about, my man? The order below that, because I have no idea what you're talking about. Circle on my chart what you're talking about. Did you? Yeah. It is not the extreme of the leg. So you're saying this is not the extreme of the leg? Yeah, this isn't the extreme of the leg. I don't consider that the extreme of the leg. This is my extreme of the leg. It's not scribble, it's scribble. Scrabble, you mean, right? Yeah, I don't know. Man, I really don't know what you're saying. Yeah, no, for me, this was all continuation moves. Yeah. This was all continuation moves. So like when I go back in there, it's all continuation moves. So this was the distribution, the shakeout. Specifically, this is the shakeout, right? Price coming back in after the break at Frankfurt, coming back in, giving a 1, 2, 3, 4 drive accumulation at the 80% of that, mitigating here, and then ultimately reaccumulating, coming back into the 50%. So yeah, this was the, what was this, Thursday, right? We were looking at this Thursday. This was the entry from Thursday coming into that 50%. And then we reaccumulate here and just take it up. So I don't know if that makes sense or not to you. Yeah. This is not my slingshot though. This is just continuation move. This was reaccumulation going higher. This down here, this is my manipulation. Here's your accumulation and right at Frankfurt open. So this is my point of interest for my buy right in here. And if you measure out the spring in the micro accumulation, the 50% lines up with the 80% of the larger spring. So it's off by like what, 5 pipettes. So that's kind of, this is my point of interest. If your definition of a shakeout, just the manipulation, no. For me, definition of a shakeout is a change of character. It needs to shake out weak-handed buyers or weak-handed sellers. So it could be a manipulation, but it's not just, oh, manipulation equals shakeout. No, there's got to be a purpose behind it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would say there's a high degree of validity in if this price action equals manipulation, that it is a shakeout. But not every every manipulation is a shakeout. So if that makes sense, every shakeout is a manipulation, but not every manipulation is a shakeout. You've got to look and ask yourself, well, what did it do? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, UCAD again, for me, it's a fairly simple process. I'm going to be waiting. Obviously we're expecting dollar to give a little bit of a pullback, so let her come on down. I'm waiting for her right here, open arms. Let her come on down. And if not, and we break the high, then definitely I'll be looking to play out of mitigation here to go higher with it. Right. Last week, this was the entry last week. I really wanted it to come in here, but maybe they're going to come in there now. So I definitely am still holding all my UCAD buys from last month and the month before. So nothing about what I'm seeing on UCAD here is really giving me any reason to, this is just walking itself up. You just got to be patient with it. From here to here, 151 days, right? From here to here, what are we talking? 168 days. So we're talking about like half of a year almost for price to give you, 600 pips, 650 pips, 650 pips. And you just got to be patient with it, let it come in and, do what you got to do. If it's going to take 150 days for the pullback, then put it on your secondary list. Look at it when it comes back. Yeah. What's my target on UCAD? I'm looking to try to get it up into this. I thought I had this marked out, but yeah, in here. This is what I want to get it into, right up in here. So we got a ways to get up in here. So somewhere like in this area up here. This is where I want to get it up to. So we're at least 1,000 pips from that area. So that's what I'll be looking for. Fundamentally, it makes sense. We're starting to see a pullback on oil, so we know that Canadian dollar is going to be weak, and dollar, if at any point, if the dollar starts to to lose its strength, which I know there's a lot of people rooting for it to lose its strength, but there's no sign of that. There's absolutely zero sign of that happening. So until that happens, yeah, UCAD's just going to continue to go higher. Oh wait, what did I do with the chat? There you go. Yeah, so that's ultimately what I'm looking to do. We've ever since we finally broke here. This thing has just been, I want to say we started looking for the buys. Actually, that's what we did. We started looking for buys in here. That was the original buys out of the slingshot. So, this has been going on, about a year. Actually, yeah, it's going to be, let's see, we started looking for those buys October 21. So it's going on a year that we've been really just targeting UCAD buys. So that's what I'm looking on UCAD. With ACAD and NCAD, different story, right? I'm definitely looking for shorts. This thing is just massively bearish, massively bearish. So, ideally what we were looking at, we made the low, beautiful distribution. She came into the 80% for our test, made the low, came back in for our LPSY, tapping right into our 80%, gave a distribution, right? Gave a distribution, really clean distro. And now what we're looking to see is there was some really good entries. There were some really, really good entries out of this price action in here last week. So what I'm ultimately looking at now is, okay, so we have a accumulation, that accumulation with a distribution. If we break this low here, right, we have a redistro. So I'm already anticipating redistro. And if that happens, obviously this is my shakeout. So that's what I'm playing. I will get in a little aggressively. If we do break here, I will play out of the distro, but I'm going to wait for a schematic to play it. And then, maybe something like this to then take it lower. So I do like the play. I like the distribution. I like the evidence of sellers in this market. I am expecting the redistribution. And if you just look at, I mean, just look at what ACAD has done in the month of August. I mean, super, super clean price action. You know, we've seen just really nice distributions, redistro. And now we come into this accumulation, which you got to laugh at that this is not a buyer's, you know, this isn't signaling buyers coming into the market. This is very much signaling that they're doing some profit taking. And, you know, what I want to see now is at minimum this break, right? This break here or this break here gets me into shorts out of this. And if we end up just accumulating out of it, that's fine. You know, I'll play out of this area up here. But I'm pretty much going to be expecting that, you know, I think we did distribute this morning out of New York. Hold on, let me just see. Yeah, we did distribute out of New York out of here. So we have a distribution up here. And pretty much what I'll probably be doing is if I wake up tomorrow morning and we've broken this low, I'm most definitely going to play a limit out of there. So, I mean, just looking at it, it's 50% of this is going to be pretty close to the 80% of the whole move, I think. 80% is just a little bit lower. What are we talking here? We're talking, 13 pips. Yeah. So I'll probably only have the 50 entry and the 80, split it. And then, you know, if we break and come back up, you know, wherever we start to distribute, I'll play some risk out of the distro, but I can't put no 13 pips in my MT5. So yeah, this is what I'll be looking for on ACAD. You know, we'll see how it plays out. NCAD, pretty much similar thing. NCAD's actually showing, like I said, NCAD's a leader. So the Kiwi's the leader. We're seeing definitely more weakness out of it. There was, oh shoot, is this what Meninder posted earlier? Is this what he was talking about? Did it come right into the freaking 80 of that? I think it did. All right. Anyway, so what I'll be looking for is same thing, right? We got the distro, man. We break this low. I'm playing out of here, right? That's ultimately what I want to play out of. And then, of course, if we just completely collapse, well, most definitely, now we have a complete redistro here. So I'll play continuation move or I'll play pullback, right? And if I'm going to play the pullback, you know, what I want to see is I want to see price. Let's see where we're at. I want to see price either come back into this price action right here, which causes the break, right? Or I want to see the distribution up here. So I'm very much eager in getting these short positions. This is Kiwi news that is definitely on my radar as well, but I think this is going to be it. This was the manipulation, took out weak-handed sellers, gave the redistro that causes the break of this reaccumulation. So I do like NCAD. I most definitely like ACAD shorts. The only other thing that I'll be looking at, so I was looking, where was CADJ at? Hold on, let me just see where CADJ was at. Absolutely nowhere. Yeah. All right. So CADJ, I'm not doing much with CADJ. And UJ was the other one. So yeah, UJ. Yeah, UJ is just in the middle. UJ, I need us to break. I need us to break up here. I won't really look at these yen crosses for a while. On indices, yeah, I mean there's a buy and a sell area for me. You know, we are. Let's see. So, I mean, this is. So realistically, this is the area that I'm looking. We broke. Right. This is the area I'm looking for my buys. So I won't be looking for any more shorts. You know, this right here isn't giving me evidence of sellers in the market. So I'm going to look for buys here. See if we get it. See if there's if it shows those evidence of buyers coming into the market. I personally don't think. I mean, today's price action was just garbage. Nothing I really want to play out of. This is an area I will be looking at. Giving tomorrow, I'll be looking to see what we do in. Come on. So some points of interest that I'll be looking at is definitely NFP. So this is the NFP candle. Nope. There we go. This is the NFP candle right there. So I'll be looking to see if we come back to mitigate that, because we still have a lot of price action down there. But what really has me looking is this price action right here. So London Open, I want to see what we do in London Open. This was, if you remember back, this is where SPX gave that just tremendous accumulation. So SPX actually trades lower. So SPX was the laggard, US 30 was the leader in this aspect. So bear with me here. So this right here is what I'm looking at. That Frankfurt into a London sweep. That's my point of interest. So we get into this price action here, and this is what I'm going to be focused on right in here. And SPX, I know SPX traded into that today. So this is what we actually traded into. We came into 80% of it. That's where this reaction came out of. So, price is in the area where I'm waiting, but I don't see any evidence yet of buyers. I mean, we could potentially maybe do something like this and then finally get a spring to a break. If that happens, I mean, we're going to be here for a couple of days. We'll be here till Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, kind of something along those lines. So I just don't like the price action we're seeing in here. I mean, nothing in this is really telling me much, so it is what it is. Yeah. Bear with me. There we go. All righty. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not looking for shorts out of this, but I'm also not prepared to take any buys yet. So if we get something in this area, great. I mean, we're in this entire area is a valid area for me to look for buys. So we get into something here that shows me the buys, great. Until then, yeah, I'm not interested. NAS and SPX are still holding on to that Frankfurt low, but I mean, we're not even anywhere near being ready for buys yet. So I'll reevaluate it tomorrow. I think absent a clean accumulation, what gets me into a buy, I would say that I would want to see. So I would say that I want to see just a very elongated reaccumulation. I want to see evidence of an attempt at change of character, shaking out weak-handed buyers, and then I wouldn't even take the buy until we come back in, something like this. So this price action right here, though, is telling me absolutely. For just look at the volume of the candles. I mean, those candles are extremely small, indicating low volume. Like nobody really cares about what's going on with indices right now. So you got it, man. Have a good one, bro. Yeah. So that's kind of my place with indices. I mean, it's are we in a valid area? Sure. Is there a buy and is there a sell area? Sure. I'm not interested in trying to short it from here. Now, what gets me into a short? Gets me into a short is from here without any pullback. What gets me into a short is that we get that accumulation and then we get the redistro. And if I get that, right, then yeah, absolutely, I'll play out of here. 100%. If we get, just like we got here, right, if we get a redistro here with a break, I'll play that. But I would need to see a redistribution here. I'm not looking to play a 5-second distribution out of any of this price action. I'm not looking to play a 5-second accumulation out of any of that price action. Like, I want to see true evidence of buyers and sellers, in this market. And right now I don't see much. So, keeping an eye on what's really happening, like in the markets. We're starting to see, keep in mind that the Fed next month is already said that they're going to be doing another interest rate hike. So, could that mean that they're being positioned into pulling profits out and maybe moving them to another asset? Could be. I mean, if you're following COT reports, COT reports are delayed anyway. So by the time you find out, it's too late anyway. You can see it on the chart. So that's something I'm going to keep my eye on. Yeah. So indice wise, I mean, I'm looking for buys where we're at. I'm not looking for shorts, but I don't see anything that I'm ready to buy out of yet. I think it's still early. And on US oil, yeah, I mean, I think US oil is in a pretty decent pullback, getting ready for another run. Where was I looking? Where are we? Let's see. Was it 4 hour? Hold on. Yeah, I mean, here's your buy order that created that. So, you come back into here. This is definitely an area where I'd be looking for the buys. What are we seeing here? Let's see. So just trying to, let me go over to WTI. Let me see if I can find the market cycle. So we have, yeah, I mean, my alerts are down here at 80 and below are my alerts. So we get down in there. I'll be looking for long in positions out of there. I'm not ready to do anything out of here yet. If this was, yeah, I mean, potentially if you break this, could you look for an accumulation out of this move right here? Nah, you could, I don't see a reason for us to properly accumulate. I think this is honestly probably just going to be a redistro. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much everything I'm looking for. This is the primary list that I got for this week. Crypto side, like I said, BTC for me. Yeah, BTC for me is, I mean, we're still in active accumulation. Nothing's changed. Yeah, we're still in active accumulation. So we won't be in a redistribution until we break this low right here. When we break that low, then we'll be in a redistro. So for me, I'm still expecting us to get up here, right up here. This is where I think the next big sell-off is going to be. Maybe November gets us up into here, and then we short. So there's a lot of fundamental factors going in. US elections are in November. That's going to be something really to look at. You've got the merge happening. Well, I don't even know. The merge is happening relatively soon, like 3 weeks. So Ethereum merge is going to be something. Ethereum merge is going to be something to look at because that's definitely going to influence market. Yeah. So currently, right now, we're looking about this time. So September 13th. So 20 days. 20 days till the merge. So we'll see what happens. Did I ever see pound Swiss franc? Let's see. Pound Swiss franc from Monday. So yesterday, Monday. Is that what you're saying, DR? Yesterday, Monday? Yep. Let's see. So, well, hold on. So you're looking for her to buy, though. Where did she come into, though? For the sell? All right, hold on. For the sell. So continuation move is what you're saying. I gotcha. All right, hold on. So Monday, you talking about here. I got you, bro. I got you. I got you. Yep. Yeah, we did indices, bro. Nothing's changed from this morning. I mean, we're just waiting. They're in the buy area. Just I'm not seeing any evidence of buyers. So let me guess. She come into 80? Oh, she gave a distro too. Look at that. Looky, looky, looky. Hold on. Smack dab on the 50 too. What was the 50? The 50 was, oh, that's not too bad. 6 pips. 6 pips off the 50. You could probably offset it too. You know, I would probably, I don't know. Did you look in? Were there any actual orders in there? I don't know if, let's see. No, let's see. Oh yeah, bro. Look at that garbage, man. Let me see. Oh, I don't know though. Look at the 5-second. 5 seconds saying a different story. Yeah, look at this. It's telling you there's no orders in any of this crap. So Awand is just full of horse crap. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's going to be some orders in there. I don't know about this wick here. That wick may be a ghost feed, but there's definitely in this right here. Yeah, so even if you offset it, let's just go half into the 80 like this. So you get, let's see what she does. You got into a sell on NAS this afternoon. Oh, so you took it off of the 15-second distro. Dude, she never came back to mitigate? Wow. She never came back to mitigate, huh? That was it? She's gone from here? Unreal, man. Unreal. Well, not bad. I mean, what are you talking about? 120 pips in a session, 1 to 25. Wow. Oh, look at that. And then she comes in today. Wow. Wow. Today she came in. Look at that, right? I didn't even measure it. Hold on. It looks like she came into the 50 though, right? Let's see. Hold on. There's the 1580. And let me see. Let me see the whole move. Oh, bro. Come on. You don't get better confluence than that right there. That's where she came. That's where she came. Where is she at? There she is right there, bro. That's where she came. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That ain't too shabby. Yeah, it was a nice little play. Are there any other lower POIs other than the SC too long on indices that you're looking at? What do you mean lower POIs though? What do you mean by lower POIs? I wish there was an alarm for Frankfurt sweep. I bet I can write an indicator that you can just set, because like how you can set like if I had I don't know, like say I had the 50 EMA, right? And every time, if I click on the 50 EMA, I can add an alert when anytime pound CHF crosses the 50 EMA, right? If I create like a Frankfurt sweep every time price sweeps, actually it wouldn't be a Frankfurt sweep, it would be an Asian sweep, right? Every time Asian sweeps or Frankfurt sweeps Asian, then you just set an alarm on it. What I got to do is I got to go to like do one of those online coding classes and learn how to create a bot that can just trade that crap, bro. So yeah, no, this was super clean. Yeah. If you want to go back and back test it, back test this was super damn clean. So, and it looks like it just accumulated to come right back up. Yeah. So wait a minute. So we failed to take the high on the open. That's why you got in. Hold on. Let's see, bro. So we failed to take the high. Let me see if I can find your entry, bro. Hold on. Let's see. All right. So we failed to take the high. We failed to take this high. So you got in where? Hold on NAS. Got into sell on NAS in the afternoon because we failed to break the high at the open. That's why you got in. So I'm guessing you got in here somewhere out of this. Yeah, go ahead. Annotate, bro. You got it. Yeah. So let me just ask you this, though. What are they distributing out of? And what did this do? To me, it just slammed right into the 80% of this right here. So just like you said you failed to break the high, well, you failed to break the low. So technically, like if you look at NASDAQ, technically we're bullish order flow, right? I mean, we're here to here to here to here to here to here. We're bullish order flow. I got you. So the other two did that. Yeah, but again, the question is, what's it distributing out of? This hasn't done anything. I don't know if I take that sell though, man. Like if let's go over to futures for a sec. Let's look at this. Let's see. I was wondering if you just trade. What if you just trade Frankfurt sweeps? You can make some decent profits if you execute all of them. They are high probability. Yeah, we looked at that. Remember when we did the what did I do? Like 100 trades. I did 100 trades on it. Shoot, when the hell did we do that? Like last summer? We did the 100 trade on it, and I mean, for the most part, as long as you're pro trend, right? As long as you're pro trend on it, I'd have to look at the journal on it. I know I mean, obviously we incorporated it into the trading strategy. So yeah, I mean, it gives it. I'll tell you this. One of the things I looked at, and then I quickly just said no because I'm not getting up at 3:00 in the morning. But one of the things I looked at was just taking 50% volume off. Once you get in and secure and you break the new high or low, take 50% volume off, and it gave some really good results. But then I asked myself why am I setting my alarm for 2:30 in the morning at 40 years old? So New York session it is, my man. Yeah. Let's see. This is a distribution and a potential shakeout. Yeah. You got it, man. Yeah. Have a good night, bro. Have a good night. Let's see. There's the area that broke the initial order flow leg that we currently in. Is there anything to look below that, or does not? Yeah, it's all order flow. Yeah, so it's all order flow. I mean, is there anything to look to put a limit order on? No, I'm not putting a limit order on anything out of there. Could it be a potential area to look at? Sure. All right. So let's see, my man. Let's see. So we are looking on futures here. We are looking at what are we looking at here? Why is the time off? Why do they screw this thing up, bro? All right, whatever. It is what it is. So we know we do that. So we're here to here. And then we go here to here. But we know that we have divergence because SPX and US 30 break it. So I don't know if you saw, someone showed me this already, but I don't know if you saw this clean flipping schematic right here. I mean, that is evidence of some orders getting filled. So she comes in, she reaccumulates. So let's see what we get. All right, so we accumulate, reaccumulate with the shakeout, reaccumulate here. All right, so this was the divergence. This is divergence. All right. There's a reason to look in futures. So this is the chart, right? This is the actual market chart. So that's why I always go by. When I back test, I always like to back test futures. All right. So what do we know? So we know that this was the shakeout. Oh boy, oh boy. Why do I trade the 80s? I don't know. All right, bro. You got me. That good play with it. I mean, you're at reduced risk, so yeah, for sure. Yeah. Now that I'm looking at it like this, what was the stop? Let's see. So we're talking 24 points on that 50. So that ain't gonna happen. It's got to be the 80. 80 is the only way to do it. Oh wait, I forgot. I'm inverted. So hold on. There we go. What are we talking? 30. So we're talking 9 points, right? 9 points, or yeah, I was inverted. Hold on. 9 points, or bro, I don't know. I don't know if I can do 24 points on that. That's. I mean, what's the target on it? Let's see. Even if we shoot for this high right here, we're at a 1 to 4. I mean, this is it right here. That's it right there. All right. So wait a minute. Let me catch up. Your 1 and 0 on your fib is light blue color. My 1 and yeah. I don't care about it's just so I don't see it. Yeah, but you could see in here. Yeah, chart's inverted, bro. Chart's inverted. Gives you a different perspective. Trains your brain, Yeah. Damn, dude, that was it though, right there. Why didn't did anyone backtest US 30 or SPX? Did they come right into this as well? I mean, it's 5.75 pips, you know. I mean, we're gonna be like the, you could say that's 57 pips. That's crazy, bro. I mean, heck, just up to this high, it's a 1 to 16. US 30. Oh, dude, is it gonna get me pissed off? That, I mean, yeah, you're protected. I honestly, if you're gonna scalp it, I agree with the scalp on it. I just don't think that the short from there is going to actually play out very nicely. I think honestly, tomorrow we're going to be right back where we were today. All right. So wait a minute. Let's look at US 30. Is US 30 going to get me pissed off? Hold on. So let's see. So 9:30. So let's just back test. Let us go to, come on. All right. So this was the open. What do we do at the open? Let's see. Yeah, but if this is the open that you're talking about, the buy, there's nothing that gets me to buy this or sell this in Dow Jones, because we're still in the point of interest. So there's nothing that gets me to sell this here. I gotta wait for this break up here. So wait a minute, what do we break? Let me see. All right, so we broke. All right, we broke. And what do we have? So we know here. And we have a really clean type 1 accumulation there, or reaccumulation here. Let's just see. So there's your shakeout right there. That's your 80. Let's see. Let us see. No, it doesn't come back in. It was a sell at 343. 343. Right here. Yeah. What's the sell though? So if I go at 343, what's your sell though? You haven't broken anything. Just look at it. You broke order flow here. What gets me to take this? Yeah, but this previous distribution hasn't done anything. Hasn't even broken the low. That's why you took it? All right. Yeah, I mean, you haven't broken anything. So let me know how many of these, let me know how many of these work out for you, because a distribution that doesn't do anything that comes back to distribute again. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's I can understand playing this because that's what caused the break, but not in here. Just look at, let me put this in perspective for you. Look where you're selling. You're selling here. That's where you're selling, right there. All of this price action over here, that's where we're selling from. So this isn't worth it for me to sell from there. Maybe if we came back into that distro there, yeah, game on. Maybe if we come back into the slingshot, sure. This whole thing is a redistro. So, I mean, I totally agree with something in there, but not that. Not that. All right. No worries though, man. No worries. All right. Anybody else? Any other questions? If not, like I said, I told myself I wasn't going to be on too long. And yeah, I think that time has come. If there's no other questions, if nobody else has anything else, yeah, you got it, man. You got it. Yeah, enjoy. I'll see everybody in the morning. And yeah, have a great night. Thanks for hopping on. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the chat or something like that, and I'll try to address them. Thank you very much. And I'll catch everybody later.